Hello, welcome to the weekly highlights program on Azərbaycan Television with the major developments of the week. I am your host, İlham Məmmədov. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham Əliyev, attended a groundbreaking ceremony of the offshore operations of the Abşeron field at the Heydər Əliyev Baku deepwater jacket plant. President İlham Əliyev appealed to the nation on the occasion of the start of the new academic year. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham Əliyev, attended a groundbreaking ceremony of the offshore operations of the Abşeron field at the Heydər Əliyev Baku deepwater jackets plant. Following the ceremony, President İlham Əliyev gave an interview to Azərbaycan İctimai and Real Television.
Abşeron field is located in the Azerbaijani sector of the Caspian Sea, 100 kilometers southeast of Baku at the depth of 500 meters and covers an area of 747 square kilometers. The field is expected to contain 350 billion cubic meters of natural gas and 45 million tons of gas condensate. The producing well was dug by Heydər Əliyev drilling rig. This is the deepest well dug in the Caspian Sea so far. The platform to be installed for producing gas from Abşeron field can be considered unique of its kind. Thus, the platform will be operated remotely from the module installed at the oil rocks. The module is located 34 kilometers off the well at a distance of 3 kilometers from the platform. This means ensuring safety and quality in terms of the production, processing and delivery of gas.
Cənab Prezident,
Neftçilər Günü münasibətilə
sizi ürəkdən təbrik edirik.
Daimi dəstəyinizə görə
sizə dərin təşəkkürümüzü bildiririk.
bayramımız mübarək.
bayramınız mübarək.
The Qurban Abbasov ship will be modernized as part of the project. Azerbaycan crane ship will be recertified with the view of increasing lifting capacity. For the first time, turnkey method was applied in the project. Director General of Bosch Shelf, İhtiyar Akhundov, stated that the main peculiarity of the project was that the whole production process would be operated from the central control room and the operators would fully control the process from one room. Asked whether the traditional profession of oil worker had been modernized, İhtiyar Akhundov stated the traditional profession of oil worker depended on the sea, specifically from the weather, thus these threats exist no more. Total's Executive Director for Azerbaijan, Regi Sagud, underlined the importance of Abşeron project for Total. Regi Sagud said Abşeron field was of great importance for Azerbaijan in terms of bringing the natural gas to the local market. Operation of the field will make significant contributions to meeting Azerbaijan's growing domestic demand for the natural gas. Following the ceremony, President İlham Əliyev gave an interview to Azerbaycan Public and Real Televisions.
President İlham Əliyev took part in the opening of a new high school number 154 in the Surakhani district of the capital and inaugurated Murtaza Mukhtarov Park, reconstructed with the support of the Heydər Əliyev Foundation.
School number 154 in Surakhani bears the name of its alumnus, the national hero Alberta Garunov. Pupils will find a completely renovated school that meets the most modern educational requirements. At the entrance to the school, there is a bust of a brave tanker whose life can be an example for every young person. The first school building was built in 1936. The former building housed 22 classrooms for 460 pupils. Due to its unsuitability for teaching, it was demolished and a new school building was built in its place, which can already accommodate 960 pupils. There are 58 classrooms here. In the new building, along with classrooms, there are laboratories for chemistry, physics, a computer science room, a library, a buffet, a gym and other necessary facilities. 52 teachers will be involved in the education and training of children. The head of state also took part in the opening of the park named after Murtuza Mukhtarov. Previously, there used to be Yettigoch Park on Jabir Aliyev Street in the Emerjan settlement. For many years, it was left unattended and turned into desolation. The appeal of local residents in a short time was considered. As a result of large-scale works carried out with the support of the Heydar Aliyev Foundation, the appearance of the park has completely changed.
A vocational education center under the Sumgayit Chemical Industry Park Limited Liability Company was inaugurated. President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, İlham Aliyev, attended the opening ceremony.
The building of the Vocational Education Center is designed to train 500 students. There are 23 classrooms, 13 laboratories, a library, a gym and other premises. The educational program has been prepared taking into account international experience. Specialists from the residents of the Sumgayit Chemical Industrial Park are involved in the educational process. 80% of classes will take place in such enterprises. President İlham Aliyev gave instructions to calculate the annual GDP. Minister of Economy Mikhail Japarov noted that according to the instruction, together with the relevant structures of the Presidential Administration assessment of GDP and attraction of investment per capita is carried out in each region. The head of state stressed that at meetings with the heads of executive authorities, he repeatedly noted that these directions should be among the main ones in the activities, attracting investments, creating jobs, at the same time giving impetus to work going on in districts and cities. Industrialization is an important part of President İlham Aliyev's economic policy. The main goal is to increase the share of local products in meeting the demand, increase the export potential, and in general, further reduce the dependence on oil and gas in general. If using the example of the Sumgayit Chemical Industrial Park, we can delve into the part of this stage, it can be expressed in real figures. According to the statistics, in the first half of 2019, the Sumgayit Chemical Industrial Park produced goods worth 258 million minats. Then in the first half of 2020, it was twice as much, 534 million minats. Exports, which amounted to 121 million minats in the same period of 2019, having increased 1.5 times in 6 months of 2020, reached 182 million minats. In general, in 2019, the products worth 8,023 million minats were manufactured in Sumgayit Chemical Industry Park, of which 276 million minats, approximately 33%, went for the export. During the first half of 2020, the share of Sumgayit Chemical Industrial Park in the non-oil sector of the country with manufacture of products worth 534 million minats was 9.3%, and the special weight in the export of the non-oil products with an export worth of 182 million minats amounted to 20%. Saying that Sumgayit is the second largest industrial center not only in Azerbaijan but also in the South Caucasus today, and Sumgayit's potential is getting stronger. The head of state added that a glass production plant will also start operating here this year. Major investments have also been made there, and it will provide it with glass. Also, the construction sector is experiencing some recession due to the pandemic today. It's recovering and will be restored. We will provide ourselves with local glass. This is also a great achievement. underlining that we must as far as possible meet the domestic demand with local products, and the city of Sumqayıt in particular, the chemical industry park plays an important role in this because, having done this work in recent years, we have achieved this to a large extent. The head of state added that the main task now is to find out where we have the biggest dependence on imports and if substitution is possible and there are raw materials for this or a feasibility study allows that, then it's imperative to pay attention to these sectors. Companies sharing such initiatives should be granted resident status and the state should provide them with assistance, provide low-interest loans so that we can reduce our dependence on imports as much as possible. After all, any country strives for this, in particular a country with a growing population. Azerbaijan should definitely strive for this, said President İlham, accentuating that our fields will eventually be depleted and we will start operating new oil and gas fields in the near future and will try to keep the level of production stable, but a natural decline in the Azeri, Çıraq and Güneşli fields, our main sources of income, is inevitable. The President said we must fill this gap precisely at the expense of the non-oil sector. To maintain the balance of payments at a positive level, we need enterprises that produce high-quality export products and bring in foreign currency. The positive balance of payments today is maintained mainly due to the oil and gas factor. However, we must try, leaving aside this factor, to always have a positive balance in export-import operations. Therefore, it's imperative to create export-oriented manufacturing industries capable of replacing imports. A cigarette factory has started functioning here, and our statistics already show how much the dependence on imports has decreased. Before the launch of this factory, we were mostly dependent on imports. Today, we have saved 300 million minutes. At the same time, this factory has development potential as well. Attending the opening ceremony of the factory, the head of state suggested to launch the second and third lines so that production increases and we can export these products. I said back then that I only want these products to be exported so that no one in Azerbaijan smokes and there is no domestic demand. Of course, this is impossible, but we must try. Among other things, we need to properly structure our campaigning work. In addition, of course, the prohibitions came into force. Therefore, I see this factory in the future as an exclusively export-oriented enterprise, and there are many such examples. We currently have a tobacco production and quality equipment. I said earlier, why some countries that do not produce tobacco export products to us? They buy tobacco elsewhere, then process it and sell it. True, as you know, we also depend on foreign tobacco in the production of cigarettes. However, the task has been set to buy products from local tobacco growers in order to give impetus to the development of agriculture. In the example of Sumqayıt Chemical Industry Park, we see a renewing and strengthening Azerbaijan, especially if we recall what this territory was like, what state it was in when we made the decision. These were rotten environmental disaster and unused lands. Now an industrial park covering hundreds of hectares has been created here, underlining that new territories are needed and there are many such areas here on the outskirts of Sumqayıt. The President set a plan for those areas, cleaning those areas, laying communications and resolving other issues should be developed so that this work does not stop. After all, the interest of foreign investors in our country is growing, saying that he urged local investors to invest in Azerbaijan. Development should go fast enough to keep employment low, minimize our dependence on imports, and produce export-oriented goods. At the same time, of course, in my remarks, I also appeal to Azerbaijani business people living abroad and urge them to come and invest in Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan is their homeland, and they always see the support of Azerbaijan. A strong Azerbaijan multiplies their power too. Therefore, Azerbaijanis have achieved great success in various countries in economic, commercial, and business spheres. They must invest in their homeland, keep in touch with their homeland, bring up their children on the basis of Azerbaijani values and the national spirit, so that their children know the Azerbaijani language and cherish our national values. If we can mobilize all these factors in the right direction, then the flow of investment to Azerbaijan will not stop. This is our main goal. The global recession, which the pandemic first as a result of the pandemic, has certainly affected many companies. However, it's in this context that we must take steps to be among the countries most prepared for this post-pandemic period and to have a new dynamic of development immediately and without delay, said the head of state. As it was underlined, approximately 85% of the territory of the Sumqayıt Chemical Industrial Park make up enterprises. With this pace of park will be full in 2-3 years. This can be assessed as success of the industrialization strategy set by President İlham. The strategy includes clear vision for the future and a constant development. As I said earlier, please prepare proposals for the future development of industrial park and choose new locations. Let me repeat that if we maintain the same speed, all of these places will be filled up in 2 to 3 years and there will be no space left on 508 hectares. So look around to find out where we can continue. It does not have to be just into this area, it may be a little way from here, but the main thing is that it will be given resident status. Cleaning and communication work can be started this year without wasting time, because it will take time. It took us about a year to clear this area, both cleaning and then communication work. Therefore, some funds may be allocated before the end of the year, so that we can do this work in the newly selected place, so that investors do not waste any time when they are already interested, said the head of state. The general development tendency of the Sumgayit Chemical Industrial Park is distinguished with its attitude innovations. In this respect, the Vocational Educational Center, which has just been inaugurated under the park, is of special importance. Thus, for the first time on the territory of the country's industrial park, a vocational educational institution has been created, which makes it possible to achieve several strategic goals. In the center, which houses modern infrastructure, students will be taught skills and professional skills in accordance with the requirements of the time. The specialists who will take part in the educational process will comprise the residents of the park who are highly qualified workers. In turn, the students having completed an internship at the enterprises of the Sumgayit Chemical Industrial Park will have the opportunity to get a job.
President İlham Aliyev appealed on the occasion of the start of the new academic year. The head of state extended his congratulations on the start of the new academic year and added that the new school year began in the new conditions during a pandemic. Saying that with this in mind, the new academic year will be organized in a new format, the other state added that the main goal is to protect the Azerbaijani people from this misfortune, and all the decisions made pursue this very goal, adding that having taken very prompt action from the first day of the pandemic, we have been able to save our people from major troubles, and since the beginning of March, all schools, universities and other educational institutions were closed, and the main goal of that was to protect children and adolescents from illness. The president wanted to say that this had an adverse impact on the sphere of education. However, as a result of the measures taken, we have managed to prevent a significant part of the negative consequences of the pandemic in education, expressing confidence that the new academic year, which begins in the new circumstances, will be successful, that all our pupils and students will receive good knowledge and teachers will fulfill their official duties with dignity. The head of state once more time extended his congratulations on the start of the new academic year and wished success. That was all for the week. Thank you for watching us and stay tuned not to miss the next edition of our program.